Reports from The Athletic and David Ornstein this morning suggest that Manchester United and Paul Pogba are closing in on a new agreement for the French international midfielder to extend his stay at Old Trafford. The reception, the noise, the feel-good factor around the football club felt by everybody around the world during Cristiano Ronaldo's second debut on Saturday appears to be one of the turning points. Appears to be that moment, along with the signings of Champions League Varane and Jadon Sancho, that appear to have turned the head, appear to have made Paul Pogba look at this situation from a different angle. Is Old Trafford, is Manchester United the right place for me to commit my future to? The last big contract of my career, more than likely. Of course, Real Madrid, Juve, and PSG are still interested in the French midfielder. Why would they not be? But after 7 assists so far this season, and there's almost been this element of Bruno Fernandes's hat-trick in the first game, the debuts of Sancho and Rafael Varane, Ronaldo's return, where Paul Pogba has kind of been sitting in the background, really. But his performances have been very good in the opening 4 Premier League games. 7 assists in the 4 opening games is a Premier League record. Nobody has started off with that level of creativity so early in a campaign. He could be on his way to staying at Manchester United. Now, we want your thoughts. We want your feelings this morning. Anything you want to say about the weekend's football as well, feel free to phone in. I know we couldn't speak to everybody over the course of the weekend, but make sure that like button has been smashed. Make sure you share this stream across your social media platforms. Let's do this, people. Let's go. Morning. Welcome back. Hope you're all doing very well indeed. Good morning, Jaffa. How are you? Hope you are well. Man like Leaf is in the house. Did you see this? Did you see the smashing yesterday of Novak? I did. I watched the highlights back. I didn't watch it live. I was working, but yeah, I saw that. It's kind of good to see one of the GOATs get beat and somebody else start winning, actually. As great as it is to see those guys succeed. I'm not fussed what Paul Pogba does now. If he stays, great. If he leaves, I don't care, is what Star-Lord says. So you got all the football terrace emojis there being used by Cole P. Members, get those emojis in action right now, please. Abs here says, Labille's wavy, best central midfielder in the Prem by a country mile. His creativity from deep is absolutely sensational. And we saw that, as we know, we saw that again over the course of the weekend. And look, I just want him to stay. As you can see here by my article this morning that's out on the Give Me Sport page, close to signing a new contract at Manchester United. He's now leaning towards staying, the midfielder having second thoughts after Saturday's Ronaldo-inspired win. That's what The Athletic have been told. So it's really interesting here. This is what The Athletic have been told, that as you can see here, the 4-1 victory over Newcastle on Saturday had a significant bearing on the World Cup winner's thinking about his future, and that he's having serious second thoughts about leaving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side. And of course he's having those second thoughts. If you want to go read, we'll fill the article out a little bit more. I'll share in the comment section my article there on Give Me Sport. But it's very much a case of, we always knew this was going to happen if Man United started the campaign well. And have we been scintillating in every single match? No. But we're sitting top of the league after 4 games. We look every bit as good and every bit as convincing as all the other teams in the league so far. Do I think we're going to see Paul Pogba sign a new deal tomorrow? No, I don't. I don't think we're suddenly going to see a deal being... Sorry, this is really frustrating me. Sorry, the wires are really getting on my nerves for a second. I don't think we're going to suddenly see him sign a new deal tomorrow. I don't think we're going to suddenly see Paul Pogba on that table, big press announcement. No, but it's the fact that he's really considering staying. And something that I said in the summer, which I stand by now, that I felt none of us expected Ronaldo to come in, but I felt that it was always going to be about how well we start, what Real Madrid are doing, what Juve are doing, and what PSG are doing. I still think Paul Pogba is going to wait to see the Champions League campaign start. I think he's going to wait to see how we fare against the European elites. I still think he's going to wait to see how we fare when we go toe-to-toe with some of our top six and mainly our title rivals. Can Man United stand up? Can Manchester United fight hard in those games? Can Man United be competitive in those matches? If we are, and we offer him the money that he wants, those two things are what's key here. If we cut through all the BS, there's two things that are key. Are we willing to give him close to the £400,000 a week he is demanding? And does he see a successful future at Manchester United? If we can convince him that we're the right place for him to be and give him the money, there is absolutely no reason whatsoever why Manchester United cannot re-sign Paul Pogba. I think it's a huge weight off the shoulders of the Manchester United hierarchy if they can pull this off. It's simply, it's almost a bit of an obvious thing to say, but not having to go and find a replacement for Paul and maybe then just focusing on that central midfield DM role next summer is going to be key. Knowing that whether we play with a single pivot or a double pivot, just knowing that actually we've got someone, we've got Paul Pogba there, and then all we need is someone to play next to him, whether it is a Ruben Neves, whether it is a Declan Rice, whether it's an Ndidi, anybody. You can throw anyone into that mix. Tchouameni, whoever it may be that we feel that we want to put in next to him. I think more of a DM style role, less a box to box is going to be key. But let's see how this transpires and how it moves forward. I want your views. I want your opinions on this. The Devil's Advocate says the board has us in this mess in the first place. They have to sort it out. And they do. And do you know what's interesting about the Man United board? Everybody knows, I'm one of the most scathing people out there when it comes to our board. I'm someone that's always very, very critical of what they do and how they do it. Always have been. I'm not someone who jumps on the bandwagon when it's fashionable to turn up to protests or scream Glazers out for a week and then go back to bashing other problems at the club. I've always have and always will focus on the real root cause problems at Manchester United. And the root cause problems at Manchester United have and always will be, in my opinion, the Glazers. Until they start running this club correctly, I'm always going to moan. Now, I would say in the last 2 years, under the leadership of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, our practices and our behaviors have become better. We have seen that help us create the best squad we've had, probably the best squad pound for pound we've had since 2009. If I'm being really honest, there are a few little holes, but actually between 2010 and 2013, Fergie's last 3 years, we were, there was, sticky tape and shoestring holding that squad together. This is a very, very good squad indeed. It's going to be hugely important now for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to deliver, especially if Paul Pogba commits. There are no excuses. I don't even care about the DM nonsense. There is no excuse for this team not to be highly competitive this season, to not challenge for the title this season, and hopefully to win a trophy. And if we don't come close to doing any of those things, the great thing is all we have to do is remove Ole. My fear of removing Ole is that the practices that were in place go away, though. The cultural shift, the behavioral shift, the togetherness that is in that dressing room, and the practices in terms of our operations in the transfer market. And even with the operations, some people, nothing's perfect. You're never going to get rid of all the players you want, buy all the players you want, and make it, this utopia world. Utopia doesn't exist. That's Rainbow Land. It's not real. But it's much better. And look, you're absolutely right. If the board can get Paul Pogba to stay, then yeah, cannot wait. Cannot wait to see that new deal happen. Hopefully it does. Chris here says Pogba surely won't stay. Well, he's considering it. I wouldn't say surely won't stay. I respect you, Chris. You're one of my members, but I don't quite get what you mean by surely wouldn't stay. I think what's really important is to see what happens with this Manchester United team. One, how much are they going to pay him? But the most important element is for Paul Pogba is, can this team win? There's always a gamble. If you look at Cristiano Ronaldo as an example, if you look at his first 3 or 4, we can actually look at this properly, right? Let me just click on Cristiano Ronaldo. I remember these conversations happening in the footballing world when he first left Manchester United, and it was, should he have stayed? And I'll tell you why that argument came out, and I want to get up his honours at Real Madrid so I can get this information spot on for you. So when he left Manchester United, okay, Real Madrid didn't win the league until 2012, which meant he was there for 3 seasons before they won a league title, and they only ended up winning 2. They won the Champions League in the 2014 season. So it took 5 years after leaving Manchester United to win a Champions League. 5 years it took to win that Champions League. Up until they won the league in 2012, in fairness, up until they won the Champions League, there was 1 Copa del Rey, by the time they won the Champions League, there was 2 Copa del Reys and 1 La Liga. In that time, Manchester United had won 2 Premier Leagues and been in a Champions League final. So the thought, and won a League Cup. The thought process was, should Ronaldo have left? Was it the right decision for Cristiano Ronaldo to leave Manchester United at that point? He then went on to win another La Liga, another Copa del Rey, and 4 Champions Leagues. 4 Champions Leagues then were won over a 4 to 5 year period. And then it was like, okay, yeah, you definitely made the right choice in leaving Manchester United. But now reverse that into Paul Pogba, who's older than Cristiano was when he left Manchester United. If he goes to Real Madrid, as an example, dream move, and it takes 5 seasons for them to win a Champions League, Paul Pogba may not be part of the team in 5 years. Paul Pogba by then is going to be what, 32, 33? So he has to make a decision based on, where do I feel is most likely to generate the huge success? It may be PSG. It may be Real Madrid. It may be Manchester United. There are no foregone conclusions. If Ronaldo was 28, 29 when he left Manchester United, he may never have won all those trophies that he did with Real Madrid. It was only because he was in his early 20s still, early mid-20s, that he was able to ride the storm of those first 3, 4, 5 years where, from a trophy point of view, it's quite bare. 1 league and 2 and a Copa del Rey. That's literally it in the first 5 years that he was at the club, until the end of that 5th year where they won a Copa del Rey and a Champions League. And then after that, there was just this influx. So there's a lot for Paul Pogba to think about in this scenario. There's no doubt. I don't think it's not an easy decision, by the way. It's really not an easy decision, because it isn't like Real Madrid have just won a league title and their 2nd Champions League in 2 years, and they have a squad that's winning everything with an average age of 27. And he can just slip straight in, Ligue 1, he's going to win the league every season if he goes to PSG. I don't think that's a motivation for pro footballers. It's, can we win the Champions League with PSG? We might get to December and they are just blowing everybody away in that competition. And Pogba's like, listen, I'm going to go and join them, because I know that in the next 5 years of my career, I'm highly likely to win a Champions League, maybe even to create a huge legacy for myself and retire with a World Cup, a World Cup, maybe 2 World Cups by then, because France is so good, a couple of Champions Leagues, multiple league titles. I've got an amazing legacy. I'll go down as one of the greatest French footballers ever. That's what you might be looking at. So, yeah, it's going to be really intriguing to see what he does and why he does it. We're going to share the link now for you to phone in this morning and for you to have your say. But do me a favor and smash that like button. Share this stream across your social media platforms as well. Very important to the Football Terrace that you get that done. As I said, I'm just putting that link in now into the live comment section. I'll pin it as well in case you haven't seen it or you can't see it. We'll pin it to the top of the live chat so that you can take a little butchers at that this morning. Go and get that done. There we go. There we go. Make sure, as I say, hit that like and share button. I want to take your calls this morning on this big subject matter, because this is a big subject matter this morning. It really is a big subject matter with Paul Pogba. What's he going to do? And I think the feel-good factor at Man United is already very, very good. I think this is going to take it to another level, potentially. The devil's advocate here says, I think we'll see the best of Ollie this season. It's his squad now, and I can see earlier subs and more rotation. Shame about Van der Beek, however. Yeah, listen, I hear you, bro. I think the Van der Beek rotation and more game time is going to start now. It's 7 games in 22 days, which I'm very excited about. to sort of sink my teeth into as a content creator. I think we'll see a lot more of him. I think we're going to see a lot more of him in the coming days. So I'm really excited about getting to see more of Donny. But what I want to see from Donny van der Beek is him stepping up. I want to see Donny van der Beek step up. I want to see Donny van der Beek, when he gets into the team, make an impact. And I think the biggest thing about the Cristiano Ronaldo effect is going to be the mentality that he instills. And for me, it's very much a case when I look at these situations now at Man United, it's you only get given 15 minutes in a game. In that 15 minutes, you've got to make an impact. Even if we're 3-0 up, you come on and you make an impact. No more cruise control. And that's what's going to be key. If he starts against young boys, be the best midfielder against young boys. If he starts in a League Cup game, be the best midfielder on the pitch. Give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer something to think about. What I don't want to see from Donny is the game starts, we kick off, and you get 65 minutes in and he's been a passenger. Because if he starts 3 games in this next 22 days, and in those 3 games he's a passenger, doesn't matter how much I rate him, how much you rate him, he doesn't do himself any favors whatsoever. We're going to go to some calls now. First of all, we're going to get Safe on to have his say. C is backstage. A long time since spoke to C. C is going to be on the channel to speak as well. If you want to phone in, the link is in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you today. Paul Pogba reportedly close to signing a new deal, or at least having his mind change to sign a new deal at Manchester United. Let's smash that like and that share button. Let's go.
Hi.
Safe. Hello, mate. What do you want to say?
Well, first of all, I'm at work. Second of all, is I'm really, really frustrated that we signed Ronaldo, to be honest. Because
Why?
I don't think Ronaldo is going to score as many goals as you guys think. I believe that Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, and Cavani will score more goals than Ronaldo. Because if you look at the stats here, Ronaldo, during his Juventus era, he has only scored 2 free kicks in 82 appearances. And Ronaldo isn't the same player as he was before. And Ronaldo,
okay, he was the 1 second. He was the Golden Boot winner in
yep.
in Serie A last season, and he hasn't scored less than 28 goals in a season since 2009.
Okay,
He's only scored less than 30 goals in a season once in the last 12 years. His average per season is over 40 goals. In his last 2 seasons, he scored 37 and 36 goals respectively. His first game in a Man United shirt, he's got 2 goals in two goals. I don't understand your logic at all. He's one of the most prolific goal scorers in the history. This season alone, he's made 3 appearances for club and country, and he has 4 goals. What's your point?
Okay, my point is that Ronaldo isn't the same player as he was before. My issue with Ronaldo is that Bruno Fernandes will get more goals than him. Bruno Fernandes and Ronaldo cannot play together.
But you're a Man United fan, yes?
I am a Man United fan, and I don't believe...
Okay. So you're a Man United fan. Does it matter who scores the most goals as long as we win?
Well, to me, yeah. If Ronaldo scores more goals, you're going to see that other players, top quality players, will score less goals than him. You're going to see Chelsea, goal difference is going to be better than Manchester United because we have a world-class player that is getting over goals. Yes, I'm happy with winning games. But at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, Bruno Fernandes is not going to get as many goals as he would. I believe that Bruno Fernandes will score more goals. I mean, my point is...
I just don't... listen, I think you're trying to be controversial for no reason. Just stop a second, mate. I'm really sorry. You're making absolutely 0 sense. Ronaldo proved to us on Saturday that he can still score goals. If Rashford and Bruno score more goals than him, that's something to celebrate. Something to celebrate. Safe, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. I didn't even really know what his point was, if I'm being honest. I couldn't understand it. Unless you're saying Ronaldo isn't going to score any goals, Imagine this. Ronaldo's going to score 30 plus goals in all comps. If Rashford outscores him, this is the modern day fan for you. Legit, this is the modern day football fan. We bought Ronaldo to be top goal scorer. He scored 42 goals, but I'm angry because Rashford got 45 goals and got more than him. It's a disgrace. This is individual fans here that don't support clubs. It's a madness. C's on the show next. What are you saying, C?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm very, very well. What's on your mind, bro?
All right, bro. I'm just saying I'm really pleased that Ronaldo is here. I think we got some real leadership because I don't think that Maguire is the best captain for us, best skipper. But I think with Ronaldo's influence and him kind of just bringing his presence would help. I think we really need that. The issue we have with the centre back, and if Pogba could settle along, he's supposed to be a leader in the team. As a French international who's also won the World Cup, I think he could have done a lot more in terms of leadership. But I like the way we're going right now. All what he really needs now, and I think we really could challenge for trophies. The league, yeah, we could push for the league, and maybe one of the cups and so on. But the Champions League, I expect us to do some great work there. And I appreciate the work that you're doing. I'm in the Caribbean. We don't get a lot of shout outs in the Caribbean, but we follow you guys. So thanks, man. Appreciate it.
No worries, bro. Cheers, C. Top man. Look after yourself. Thank you very much indeed. See, happy. If you're a Man United fan right now and you're not happy, I challenge your validity as a Manchester United. Legitimately challenge your validity as a Man United fan. I really do. Next on the show, Matt is here. Matt is a Man United fan. What are you saying, Matt? Good morning.
Morning, Terry. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm very, very well. Give me your thoughts first on. I want to hear about what you think about Pogba maybe re-signing at the club, but also the feel-good factor that you felt as a United fan watching the game on Saturday.
I think it's brilliant if Pogba re-signs. The thing is as well is that he's no longer the main man that everything is on his shoulders in the United team. But like before Bruno came in, he was the main man. He was the guy who he was meant to be the guy that delivered. And I think that didn't suit him, having all that pressure on him. And now you've got Ronaldo, you've got Bruno, you've got Sancho, you've got so many players ahead of him that the responsibility falls on. It allows him to free up his game and do what he wants to do in a match. And I think that has maybe seen the best of Pogba at the start of his seasons, because he's got so much freedom to know that it's not all on him, and that perhaps that's what we've been missing. And maybe like everyone keeps saying, you get that midfield partner to go alongside him, you'll see even more out of him. I think we all want to see more out of Pogba, but the fact that he started off so well this season, but has gone largely under the radar, is massive.
Yeah. No, mate, listen, I completely and utterly agree with what you're saying. I think that there is still going to be an element in certain games where we're pressed, where I think, because I like him to be a little bit further up the field. When you're playing against low block teams, him sitting there as the deep line playmaker works fine. I don't think Pogba is the most pressure resistant when he's deep on the ball. So there's still some elements in the squad that we need to improve there. But the thing is, in 80% of the teams that we're going to play against are going to do what Newcastle did anyway. So, I care more about how we perform in the majority of games rather than the minority of games. So, yeah, look, I'm very, very excited indeed. And Pogba can play deep at times. He can play centrally. He can go out to that left-hand side. The thing that's exciting me the most about this Man United team and squad right now is you've got Cavani that hasn't really played yet to come back. You've got the young lads like a mad in the wings that are going to be pushing hard to get into the team. There is still the Donny van der Beek situation where you think, okay, what could he pull off? What could he do? You've got Rashford to return to this team. You've still got Sancho to find these feet. It's actually really exciting, the options. We could, like took people, why isn't Donny playing? Listen, we could be saying that about 2 or 3 players in a couple of months. We could be sitting there saying, why is Rashford not coming on the pitch? Why is Martial not coming on the pitch? Why? Because there's only 3 subs allowed per game. And the abundance of talent we now have is absolutely ridiculous.
But that's what we asked for as well, isn't it? We asked for having a large squad depth so we could compete with City. And I think, and now we've got a huge squad depth. And I think there's still, like everyone will agree, there's still a lacking area in midfield where maybe the depth isn't quite as strong as we want it, where we want, that player that can, that proper DM who's ready to come in and take over from where Matic left off, 2.5 years ago, whenever that summer was, where after lockdown, we need that player who's going to come in now and perhaps free up, because that's when we've seen the best of Ollie's football. is in that starting period where he got the job as a caretaker, where he had Matic holding and he had Ander Herrera and Pogba playing in the midfield. And we saw good football. We saw good football after lockdown when Matic was key to having that tempo being played. So that is the key position. I think if you want Ollie to have good football, you need that Matic replacement to come in. And it may be next summer. If it's in January, if we know that Pogba for a fact is leaving in January, because we've got to that point where he can sign a pre-agreement, start looking from January onwards, or look from now onwards to find that player who's going to free up the next midfielder, whether you have Scott McTominay as box to box, or whether you have Donny van der Beek as box to box. You need that player who's going to free him up.
No, totally agree, Matt. Great call, top man. Thank you very much indeed. Appreciate it, bro. As Devil's Advocate here says, now I already can't wait for tomorrow. Being a Man United fan nowadays is great, and that's do you know what's interesting? I agree with you, and that's why my expectations are a lot higher now this season than they were even at the beginning of the window. Because I mean, I'm seeing some hyperbolic stuff from fans, which I kind of expect. I saw a fan, I think in the comment section yesterday, say if Man United don't win 2 or 3 trophies this season, it's an embarrassment, which again is too over the top. Because that also means if we win 3 trophies, you're not going to say, well done, United, because we all expected it. We're not at a point where we should be expected to win trebles, Jesus. But we are at a point where we should be competitive in every tournament. We should believe that we can win these tournaments, and we should be pushing hard and being competitive to the death in every game we play in every tournament that we're in. And I think anything other than that kind of expectation for me is too weak. We have to be thinking and feeling like that. Next on the show, we're going to Ads. Ads is a Liverpool fan. What do you want to say, mate? Good morning.
Yo, Terry, what's good, bro? You good?
Yeah, I'm very well. What do you want to say, my friend?
Yeah, just on the Pogba thing from a neutral fan, because obviously not a huge fan he's at United, but I appreciate Pogba as a player. I think he's an amazing talent. I think it's brilliant to finally get to see him play with some world-class talent around him. I don't think United have done him any favours in the past in terms of surrounding him with the best personnel. I think this is probably the best team he's had since he's been there to at least give a challenge on the league in general. But from a neutral perspective, I would be surprised if he signs with you guys, just because he's running down his contract. If he runs down his contract, there's going to be some offers on the table next season in the likes of PSG and Real Madrid that also have a good squad as well. That maybe Real Madrid are in the process of building a squad. PSG are probably in a stronger position in terms of a squad is already assembled there. So I get it from the United side in terms of the romance. It would be great for him to sign, and this is probably the best United squad they've assembled around him. But at the same time, and this is what it comes down to this season, at the same time, if you guys are not serious contender title challengers, which I think you will be this season, if you're not, I can see where his eyes might waver away and go and stay with the likes of PSG or Real Madrid. You've got to also remember, not to rain on you guys' party, Raiola is his agent. He'll be looking for that final big deal. And it could be at United, but it could also be elsewhere as well. So yeah,
no, mate, I couldn't agree with you more, mate. As I kind of said in earlier on in the stream, you may not have been tuning in at that point, but I agree. I think there's 2 main trains of thought. What's the deal? How much money are you willing to offer? And what's the best fit for me right now? I could not agree with you more that a move to Real Madrid, if Real Madrid are ripping it up in La Liga and looking very strong and competitive in the Champions League, and Man United are not, I don't think any amount of money that we offer is going to be enough to keep him. I think Pogba's going to say, I need to be winning these. I need to be winning league titles and Champions Leagues. And the irony in that, if we go back to the legacy debates we were having last week, why does Paul Pogba want to leave? Because the most important thing to footballers is to be winning these trophies. Without winning these trophies, especially in the modern day game, you're not winning the individual accolades anymore. You know, you're not. Pogba isn't going to be recognized as one of the best midfielders in the world unless he's part of a team that's winning. So, you know, very rarely do players get that, and he isn't going to get it staying at. You know, he doesn't want to be at Man United. You know, being looked at as the best midfielder in the world, but not winning any trophies. He wants them. So, yeah, he needs to go away. He needs to get that done. If United are not competitive, but as I say, I think if we get to October, November, We're looking very good in the Champions League, in a very good position in the league, and we're offering him the big deal. He may decide, you know what? I'm loving the feeling. I'm loving how things are right now at the club. And especially with Ronaldo, Varane, Sancho, there's this, we've almost built, it's almost like a natural build in many ways. Some young, some old. We've almost done what Ed Woodward wanted to do 7-8 years ago. And that's almost build a Galactico squad. But we've built it with players that really want to be here. And that's my only worry with Pogba, is that he signs a deal to stay, but doesn't truly want to be here. That would be my only legitimate fear, is that he doesn't really want to be here. That hasn't been what's allowed this squad to be built under Ollie. But Chris, Ad, great call, mate. Top man.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming on.
One more thing.
Yeah, go on, mate. Go on.
I'll be real quick. I'll be real quick. It was yesterday. There's a bit of disrespect on my guy Sadio Mane. I just want to say again, people stop sleeping on Liverpool, please, because we are about to surprise people this season. I really do believe that. I really do believe that. I just have to say that.
No, wait, listen, and you're entitled to him. We want to hear that rival talk on a terrace, mate. Top man, thanks for coming on and having your say. Thank you. Remember, viewers, we're live tonight around at 6:30. Twice a week now moving forward. We hope we're going to be having our Bet Victor show, the Terrace Top 6. We're joined tonight by Lee Judges. He's going to be on the panel with us tonight. We may have another special guest on this evening. We've got a couple of other YouTubers we're lining up over the course of this week to bring on to that show. So 6:30 tonight. We'll get the link up very, very soon for you guys to set your bookmarks and be ready. We're going to review the Premier League weekend and preview the Champions League. Not just the games that are coming up, but also who we think is going to win it, who the favourites are, who can and can't do it. Man like Lee Judges is going to be joining us. I'm very, very excited about it. I've actually never done a stream with Lee Judges ever. Strangely enough, never done it. So, yeah, really excited about having him on the terrace this evening. Next caller we're going to go to is Everyday Sane. Welcome back to the terrace, mate. What do you want to say?
I just want to speak about Ronaldo, Donny, and Pogba.
Go for it.
The first thing, Ronaldo, I mean, still can't believe it. It's just bizarre. Everybody had given it up. And now he's back on here. I remember when he was going to sign for City, and I phoned the show. And I was saying, well, he's got to do what he's got to do, and fair enough. And then we got the turnaround. And then it's like, you see the pictures of him training with like Hannibal and stuff, and you just think, this is Cantona in the class of 92 all over again, but even more so. So it's so exciting, and it's great to see. And because we're seeing him in our league and being able to watch a full game, what really impressed me on Saturday was the amount of times that he got the ball in the box and all the defenders are panicking and everyone is expecting him to shimmy and get a shot away. And he's like, no, well, actually, he's in a better position than me. Totally, doing the maturity in his game is just different level. He's like a boxer that's so much more experienced than everybody else. So he's just levels. So that's great. I did have that slight concern about what would happen to Bruno, but as long as we play 4-2-3-1, I think it's fine, and it's really exciting. In regards to Pogba's such a weird one, because when he was being inconsistent, you had that thing where it's like, well, is he worth 400 grand a week? Well, no, because he's inconsistent. But then the thing is, like, there's that saying from Don King, you don't get in life what you're worth, you get what you negotiate. Now, he's worth, in negotiation terms, that money because he's a free agent. And the ironic thing is, if you try to replace Paul Pogba, you've got to spend at least 60 million on the transfer fee, and then at least 250 grand a week. So it kind of works out the same money if you kept him and paid him this money that you don't actually think his performance is warrant.
Everyday same. And everyday same. And that there, my friend, is why net spend is not real.
Don't get sidetracked on the net spend, Terry.
but you're bang on. You're bang on. It will cost in and around the same amount of money over the length of the contract, which is all the clubs focus on. They don't focus on the net spend element. And do you know one of the things I was told by a journalist not long ago? Man United's biggest concern about giving Pogba 400 grand a week is if he's available. If you actually think about his last 3 seasons, every season there's been chunks of time missing with injury. What they don't want to do is give someone 400 grand a week who for the next 5 years misses on average 2 to 3 months of the season. As he gets older, those injuries can take longer to recover from. That's when it becomes a waste of money because you're actually not getting any bang for your buck. So, if Pogba hadn't have had those injuries in the last few years that have kept him out for, at least, a third of the season, or at least 2 to 3 months of the season, I don't think there'd have been any hesitation. They would have just given him that contract. But that's also something that fans don't like to think about, but it's definitely worth weighing up for a club. Is this guy going to stay fit over the course of the campaign? But yeah, I mean, what would you like to see Man United do? Do you want to see them give him the new contract, or would you rather them invest in a different player, a younger player? What would your preference be?
It's hard to answer that question because Pogba's like that girl that stays with a guy who she knows doesn't love him, but thinks, well, I might as well stay with him because I might not be able to get somebody else. So I think a lot of Man United fans are like, yeah, Pogba may not want to be here and he may want to go to Real Madrid, but God, what the fuck are we going to do if we sell him? Do you know what I mean? So it's a weird one. And ironically, it's his lack of tackling ability in the midfield, which is causing half of our problems. If he had any kind of tackling ability, it would be easier to play the 4-2-3-1, which is why he's only kind of brilliant when he's got, the prime Kante and all the rest of it. So you could say, if we get rid of him and then we just do a rebuild with some really good players, obviously there's no one that as good as him, then we will be better off as a team. And what the Premier League has shown us over the last few years is getting rid of a talisman has always been beneficial to the clubs that have done it. So to answer the question, I don't know, but they're the facts. What do you think?
I get where you're coming from, if I'm being honest. I do get where you're coming from. I think what you're talking about makes perfect sense from the point of view of I've seen Man United get rid of many stars in the past, and the team is elevated to that next level. I also don't believe in this notion that it's a lot of Man United fans push this theory in the summer, which I found I would use the word fascinating would be the way I would describe it. But if Pogba leaves, Man United are finished. Like Pogba leaving, balled the club up, they stop playing, it's done. That's never going to happen. What you sometimes find is Pogba could leave and you could bring in a Ruben Neves, but it creates more balance and the team's actually better without someone of Pogba's ilk and quality. Now, that's a theory. That's just as likely to happen as for us to go massively backwards with him leaving. At the end of the day, United are considering giving him a new 4-year deal at £400,000 per week. That is a colossal amount of money that the club has got. And they've got that available because it's a percentage of our turnover. We've got that money that's available. So if you actually look at that as an example, that's a 21 million pounds a year you're looking at. It's 83 million quid plus bonuses. So you're probably looking at a 100 million pound investment. You could argue that you could probably go pick up an Ndidi and pay him a lot less money. He's only going to cost you an extra, I don't know, it might cost you 120 million over a 5-year period, including transfer fee. But actually your team looks better and is stronger without him. You've got the likes of Donny van der Beek that maybe can come in and step up and take away the creative element that we're missing from him. And you throw a DM in there that solidifies the midfield. And would I panic if Paul Pogba left? No. Do I think if we can bring in a quality player like an Ndidi, like a Rice, like a Neves to play next to him in midfield, giving him that freedom to go off and do what he wants to do? Yes. I think what's also intriguing is what the Ronaldo effect, when Cavani's back, when Rashford's here, when Sancho's on full throttle. I was watching Aston Villa play Chelsea, and I know Aston Villa like to be progressive, but they were so open. I was watching Liverpool versus Leeds yesterday. They were so open. And it kind of made me, it's going to sound weird because my team won 4-1, but I felt a little bit jealous because what I saw on Saturday, every time we tried to attack, generally speaking, Sancho was doubled up on, Ronaldo was surrounded, but there was no space for us. It was so hot. It was only in the latter stages of the game when the hearts of Newcastle went that we got a little bit more space. And I just feel like with the plethora of attacking quality we've got, most teams are going to sit back deep against us, meaning Paul Pogba's, I don't think we have to worry too much about what Pogba's going to do in these midfield battles. I then think when it comes to the big games, That's why I actually, generally speaking, prefer Fred and McTominay in the big games over Pogba, because we just need the energy in the middle to shield that back four, be tenacious, and then feed the ball into the more creative players. So I think there's options there. If he stays or he goes, I'm not panicking as a Man United fan. Personally, I'd like him to stay. I'd like us to invest in him because I think he's so talented. We've seen that with the assist and creativity so far this year. Everyday same, top man, great call. Thank you very much for coming on and having your say. We're now going to go to, I want to go to Sarim. Sarim's a Liverpool fan. Welcome back to the terrace. One of our members here. What are you saying, bro?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very, very well. Very, very well indeed. What are you here to say?
Basically, you touched on it before with the other guy about if Pogba leaves, do your team get better and worse? And I've seen it on both sides of the coin with us, with Liverpool. So when Coutinho left Liverpool, it made us better. Our front three got a lot more potent. And it kind of brought an overall balance to our team, if you remember, in 2018. We pushed on and achieved greater things. But then it can go the other way where you might get good money out of Paul Pogba, but then you end up spunking it up the wall like we did on the Brendan Rodgers and see a decline coming in. But I don't think that'll happen with you guys because the team that we were completely different to the team you are now. So it's kind of 50-50, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think with Man United, I think what we've ended up doing is we've ended up in a situation where and I want to say this in the right way, we've ended up in a situation where we're letting football people make transfer decisions. It may still be the financiers that are doing large parts of the negotiating, signing things off, but in terms of who's picking who comes in, a big thing for Ollie since he arrived has been players with the right attitude, people that want to be here. We go back 3 summers when we were talking to Dybala, and everyone was excited. We were in deep talks with Dybala. And the feedback into Ollie wasn't in those talks, but of course, information gets fed back in. And the feedback was all they're really interested in is how much money we're going to pay them.
Yeah.
And what the bonuses look like. And everything. They're not asking about the football. They're not asking about the project. They're not asking about anything that's basically on your tick sheet around what they need to have. And Ollie just said, then we walk away from the deal. It's about wanting to, you listen to Ronaldo. Of course, Ronaldo's being paid well because you have to compensate people for their worth. But if you listen to what he said, man didn't even he did it when he was younger. Didn't do his initiation sing-song. He stood up and did a speech and it was, we're here to win the Premier League. And that's what I love about Cristiano Ronaldo. As much as he loves the individual awards, as much as he strives, he says in every interview you listen to him, it's, the trophies are the most important thing at the end of the day. And that's what we need. We need people that are like, I want to join Man United because I want to win major trophies. And if you're a legacy man and you want to build legacy, winning a league title with Man United right now, like it elevates you. It's nearly a decade without a major title. If Ronaldo comes back and is pivotal in a team that does that, it's huge. And the likes of Pogba and Varane and all these guys, they want to be part of that. Of course they do. Sarim, I just want to ask you a question. Yesterday, it's trending right now. Man like Sonny, has been trending across social media for his rant about the tackle on Harvey Elliott yesterday. Yeah, what was your take on the tackle and the aftermath of it?
Look, the main thing what people weren't talking about was endangering of opponents. And I was watching Match of Day 2. I was trying to get onto your stream yesterday, but I only realized how many people wait in the background. I was thinking, what a dickhead this Terry is. Honestly, he's not even picking me. Only to realize there's 50 people in the background. Fair enough. The main thing people are not talking about is endangering of opponents. Like in football, there's always that danger you're going to hurt someone, and the tackle's fine. You see that tackle every day, like you said yesterday. But when there's an injury like that, you have to send the player off because it's endangering of opponents. And I think that's what people they're not really picked up on, and that's what we need to talk about. Is when things like that happen, you have to send them off. And I'm not saying that player meant it to Harvey Elliott. Like, I don't think, unless you play Sunday League, I don't think in professional football people go out to intentionally go and hurt people. It just happens. I've seen loads of those bad challenges that happen by mistake. When it comes to if the FA get involved, they might rescind it, they might not. I couldn't care less. But at that time, I think the red card was the right result, the right outcome. And I don't think there's no debate about it, if I'm being honest.
No, I hear you. I hear you completely. I think it was a red card. I do. I do think the severity of injuries plays a part in it. Like at the end of the day,
it does.
And it has to. The only bit that I don't like is there are worse injuries than what happened yesterday in terms of what happened to Van Dijk with Pickford, and it only seems to be when it's a visually horrifying injury that the referees change their mind. But then I also understand the psychology of it. Like at the end of the day, referees are human beings as well, and you sometimes can't help those things. But Sarim, listen, my brother. Sorry, go on, mate. Make your point, mate. Go on.
That Van Dijk one, it should have been a red anyway, because again, he's gone in 2-footed. And it should have been a red card. And I think they did come out and said that it was a mistake, that they should have sent him off. And they also have VAR, which is there to help referees to get these decisions right, which wasn't working at the time properly. So I think everything's there now. So there isn't really an excuse that if dangerous challenges like that come or endangering opponents happen, that you can make those decisions correctly. And if you can't get it right first time, VAR should step in and go have a look at it again. It should be a red card.
Mm. No, listen, no, I totally get that, bro. Listen, great call, mate. Thanks for coming on this morning and having your say. Really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much indeed. As mentioned, we're back later on today, the Bet Victor show. We're going to be reviewing the Premier League. We're going to be previewing the start of the Champions League as well. It's going to be an amazing show tonight. Really looking forward to it. Lee Judge is, of course, on with us from AFTV and his own channel as well. So make sure you're tuning in. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. Smash that like and share button, and we'll see you all.